Hi, everyone. Welcome back to today's 501c drop. You're not coming back to today's 501c drop, but you are coming back to the 501c drop. So welcome to today, Tuesday, August 4th, 501c drop, where I get to be joined by my good friend and colleague, Kirby Cathy. She is our account manager and event specialist, and she is going to talk through every little, probably not everyone, right, Kirby, but many of the nooks
Do
and
we have all day?
crannies. Yeah, I know, right? We've already talked about this. This was our conversation before you guys joined us, was how we can, and particularly Kirby, but go on and just talk about this like forever. So I will mostly be minding the time today, I think. But Kirby is our event specialist. She has gone to over 1,000 events in the last few years. She's going to talk to us about run of show, the things that you aren't thinking about when you're looking at your check-in, every little part of the plan that you need to have, and how you can best execute these events when your boots are on the ground. So welcome, Kirby.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait to talk about my favorite subject. So I can't
I
believe I've
love
never
it.
been on one of these
I
before.
know,
I
right? Isn't
could
that
talk
so
about them all
strange?
day. Yeah.
Well, and
So
here we
thanks.
go. This is your opportunity to talk about it all day. I'm trying to stop my share here, but it's taking me a second, so I apologize. Those of you who are watching, I'll talk about that. Those of you who are watching are seeing that I can't stop sharing my presentation,
No.
but you also have a lot of different ways that you might be joining us. So if you are joining us live, please say hi in the chat. Ask any questions that you might have. Oh, it is because something a little bit strange is happening. It's like covered up my ability to pause my share. Sure, Kirby, can you do it from your end? Stop sharing.
Let's see.
Nope, I jumped around to a different thing. Small technical difficulty with the share here, but okay. I'm going to jump in, and while Kirby figures out if she can stop my share from my screen here, that is frankly just saying this is who we're chatting with. I would like. I really can't do it. Can you do it, Kirby? I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
why.
here. I'll
You
try
see
to
that it's
just
covering
share
it up?
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share something else. Isn't that funny?
Okay, well, we'll figure it out here in a second. But what I would like to do with all of you today, and those of you that are joining us by podcast, you also are able to get the transcript and the show notes from our webinar section at betterunite.com/resources. But we're going to start out with some nonprofit fundraising data and news. So grants and major funding. The Denver Foundation's Reicher Scholars Program awarded $3.25 million to CU, Colorado University, Denver on August 3rd. It's part of a broader $25 million statewide initiative marking the program's 25th anniversary. She did it! Way to go, Kirby. Supporting first generation and transfer students across Colorado. Very exciting news. Yesterday also marked the beginning of Black Philanthropy Month, and more than $100,000 of funding has been allocated, and it's just waiting distribution to Black-led nonprofit organizations. This whole effort is presented by, organized by, and promoted by the Back Black movement. BetterUnite is a very proud data provider to the Back Black movement and their efforts around Black Philanthropy Month right here, right now in August, to collect data and understand better the philanthropy that is pointing towards Black-led nonprofits. So these funds will provide critical infrastructure and resources to Black-led nonprofits. So if you are interested or you know somebody that should be, go to backblackmovement.org/get-funding for details, and you can apply there as well. And also on August 3rd, the Nonprofit Finance Fund launched a $3.7 million initiative backed by the Prudential Foundation to provide capital and financial guidance to community development nonprofits in Newark, New Jersey. And today, on August 4th, the USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service opened a $500,000 funding opportunity for agricultural nonprofits and universities to lead technical assistance projects supporting eco-friendly biofertilizer adoption in Vietnam. So if you are an NGO and looking at anything like that, let's go. On August 4th, purpose-driven commerce platform Plus Shop announced a partnership with tech infrastructure firm Change. The integration lets schools, nonprofits, and brands automatically capture charitable donations from everyday online shopping during our back-to-school season. And also on August 4th, global malnutrition nonprofit Mana Nutrition detailed a domestic expansion of its Good Spread retail peanut butter product, directing 5% of operations toward domestic food bank supply to build resilience against federal foreign aid policy shifts. And finally, community health updates on August 4th highlighted that food pantries are seeing up to a 20% spike in local demand following recent federal SNAP work requirement expansions. Nonprofits are responding to this call by scaling up corporate surplus food recovery software and expanding volunteer delivery networks to meet the gap. Lots is happening out there, as always, but I'd like to get back to today's conversation. Kirby, you want to hear a secret about me?
Yes, absolutely.
A secret just between you and I and everybody joining us on this call and listening on the podcast later. I actually started the University of Texas at Austin, Hookham, and I thought I was going to be a broadcast journalism major. That was my first major. Isn't that crazy? That is not what I graduated with. I know. And I just got to do it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I was like, your cadence is really awesome. I thought you've done this for years, so.
I was on my high school newspaper staff, and then I was like, you know what? And then I was also like in plays and stuff, and I was like, ooh, let's combine those. But then I had this thought. I literally decided, like partway through my freshman year, that I didn't want to talk about interesting things happening to other people. I wanted to go out and do it. So I switched over to being in like a comparative governments major, but I felt like I was going to be more in the throw. So, anyway, and now here I am,
wow.
CEO of a tech company helping nonprofits, whatever. Okay.
I think our next one should be me interviewing you. Have we done this already? Like that's, I think we should. Because you're talking to
have a long story.
Okay, fair enough. Well, okay, back to me, Leah. Hello.
Let's start with you. So this is actually, you're taking me right to my first question. I want to hear your story. How did you become fascinated? We are like, Kirby is our Energizer bunny around here. She loves events, loves the travel that's involved with going to events for a software company and managing all of our contractors and everybody that shows up at your events. Like, what brought this madness and craziness to you? Tell me how you came to nonprofit events.
Yeah, a little bit of crazy. I have always really loved nonprofits. So when I was, 7 years old, I'd volunteer at these events. And funny enough, my first job out of UT Austin was at a nonprofit and in the development team. So that same event, I turned in from a volunteer to a, lowest rung event support, and then part-time, and then full-time, and then I took it over for years, and then adopted BetterUnite as well. And so, I've seen from the firsthand experience, just even personally from a nonprofit side of event day logistics and the problems that you see and how to overcome those. So it's super awesome. I didn't really introduce myself, but account and event specialist. And so a cool thing about my job is that I look at campaigns all day. I see where hey, this is a common thread that a lot of people are doing, identifying some gaps for people as well. So some things that I really enjoy too are going to the events. I just came back from Nantucket last weekend.
That's
and
right, yeah.
Going and just running check-in, because your on-site event manager, what are they doing? They're figuring out why table 34 doesn't have a chair and talk to the caterer and let me take over check-in and let me train your volunteers. So we'll get into more of the nitty-gritty in a little bit, but yeah, that's my gig.
7 years old, Kirby. That is impressive. Yeah. I knew you had a long backstory, but I did not realize that it extended to 7 years old.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, my mom was the main volunteer, and it was kind of like, hey, can kids come? It was the setup of the event. And, the one that I ended up running, it was, 20 years, 25 years, like it's an annual one. And really just follow mom along and say, all right, put all this stuff out. And I was like, okay, yeah. like this, yeah, perfect. So
it's so funny. My mom actually I delivered Meals on Wheels with my mom. That's what, that was my first exposure to nonprofit work at all. I had those, isn't that go yeah. moms?
I know, they're the best.
Powered. All right. So I guess you kind of told us already, but was there a moment that you were like, okay, I know now that I love the like detail of the event as opposed to all of the other stuff. Cause I actually always liked events, but I did events because I knew that they raised a lot of money and brought a lot of awareness to my overall development goals. But you seem to have laser focused on events from the jump. Like what happened with that?
Yeah, so great question. I mean, in particular, I knew that so my dream job when I was little was I want to be a business lady. So what does that mean? What does that mean? I like spreadsheets. I like planning stuff. I like executing. I didn't know those things at the time, but I want to be a business lady. But I really like the thrill and excitement of like I want every day to be fun also. So I for a good cause. It's like the over, what starts here changes the world kind of thing. I know. It's just like every year a new element came in. Kirby, what's your dream job? I don't know. I want to do good, make positive change. As a 7-year-old, just kidding. I didn't say that, but I was like, I want to help people. I like helping people. So, but in terms of like, what was the defining moment of going like, yeah, this is it. I like this. It's just kind of that, even in the volunteer role that turned into helping the real, like seeing the backstage or behind the curtain of wow, there's a lot that goes into it. And I was talking to a donor and she was like, y'all make this look easy. And I go, that's because on a random Tuesday I was digging through the BEO and I was thinking about plan A, plan B, plan C. Okay, if this goes wrong, what could I do there? So how do you make it look easy? I like it elevates my energy. Like, or even talking about it, I was like, oh wow, yeah, let's go. How can we improve for next year? So I guess that's really the twist of going like, yeah, events are for me within the first 1 or 2 years of just planning one. But I knew I loved hosting in general, like generally speaking, but and having like the little decor and having everything, the logos twisted out right, like my Starbucks, not Starbucks, the K-cup maker. How they all have like you twist the logo on the front. Gotta twist those. I'm one of those people. So
you're that amazing detail person that that no detail goes uncovered and unthought about, which is like what everybody needs. Okay, but go ahead. You go.
I was going to say it's a blessing and a curse, as anyone who has experienced that themselves. Because you go to a wedding I went to 2 weeks ago, and I go, oh, I should have told her about that. I knew that would happen. It's like it kind of hurts a little bit, but it's also fun. So. Yeah.
So then from okay, we're going to jump into now, like here, let's go. Let's give these folks what they came to hear, which is, I mean, everybody did actually, people ask me about you all the time. So I do believe that many people wanted to know your backstory, but I do know that folks want to know, like, tell me about my events. We've got a lot of events coming up in the fall. And I kind of want to frame this in like, tell me your ideal. If you had like, from the very beginning, because a lot of times you get slotted in along the way, right? Like they've already created the event, or they've created their timeline or run of show or built out the campaign or whatever it is. And you're kind of intervening and you're like, oh, okay, well, you did this thing, but now let's make the best of it. So like, if you were from the beginning creating a very perfect timeline from scratch, where would you start?
Obviously, I think the hard anchors, right? We have our start time, we have our venue, when can we enter, and all this stuff. So your anchors, our start time, our end time, and some of the in betweens, as in silent auction end time, and when does the registration open, and those are the things that I usually see or give the most feedback on, because people don't really give themselves some buffer time in between. You maybe like, okay, we have a VIP reception opening at 5:30. Well, your volunteers are getting there at 5:15. So talking about a timeline in terms of the event execution, you have your anchors, and then kind of working backwards from that is probably where I'd go. In particular, volunteer is another variable that always will affect that timeline, in my opinion, because without the hands, you're kind of running with a chicken with your head cut off, going like, one person can't do everything, right? So it takes a village. to
Yep.
pull off, and you got to trust those people too. So even start your end time and back it up, pre-event trainings, things like that. So I'm
I
kind of
love
going all
the
over the place,
framing.
but
No, but I like that framing of anchors. Like, here's what you know. These are the variables that you don't have any more control over. So now let's move from there. That's actually a really great way to think about it, I think. What is a common mistake that nonprofits make before they talk to you relative to a timeline? I know there's probably many, Kirby. None of us are going to measure up, but
not going to call
relative
out
to the
anyone.
timeline.
Yeah. So the biggest the biggest mistake. Let me think about this. So at an event, when they bring me on site, we'll close out. All right, check-in's done. We're in the program's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and the mission moment, the fund and need is occurring, right? And I mean, when I'm there, I don't let it happen, but I have seen it happen and heard about it where their program starts at 8 o'clock and their
Yeah.
fund and needs starts at 8:30. Well, their silent auction, they're clicking the button to award all of their winning bidder notifications go out during a quiet moment of your fund and need ask. You're supposed to be connecting with the speaker, connecting with the mission, and this is why you're making positive change for the world. And everybody's getting a ding. When you get a ding on your phone, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you look at it.
Or, ooh, I won something, I gotta go. And so I see the urge people to, okay, it's fine if you want to stop taking bids during your program during the fund and need, because every program, it's always oh, so and so came late, and then it's nobody's on time, always a couple minutes over, 15 minutes over sometimes, but really, if there is that level of discrepancy in timeline, don't send a text out during the quiet moment. That is the biggest mistake, and the one that hurts my heart the most, because you can hear it in the room. You can see lights, now on their phone going, why are you looking at your phone?
When a bunch of people's
Look at the
heads
screen.
go down at the same time. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's probably the biggest mistake in an event timeline that I personally see. Yeah.
Well, so you're advocating for either pausing the silent auction during the mission moment, appeal, etc., or ending it well before or well after, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Well before or well after. And even, you can stop taking bids on so they know that they won, but at least just not sending out that notification that they did, depending on, your needs and everything. But so 100% before
also
or after.
paying attention if you've scheduled text messages to go out, like be aware of those times. And if one of them was scheduled to go out during and your timeline has shifted, then make sure that you go in and pause it or reschedule it. That's great advice. Okay, how far away from event day should we have dialed in and totally locked the event timeline?
I guess the core timeline for sure, 2 to 3 weeks, because what does this affect? It affects if you're pre-plating your desserts and you need dessert picks to go inside of them. When do I need to get that marketing tool over there? And all these different, basically 2 to 3 weeks is what I would say. And then because every change affects a vendor or a room flip, or the guest flow. Are they arriving earlier now? Does my VIP check-in suddenly have to start later, and so on? So 2-3 weeks honestly is what I would say. But what do you think?
Okay. Do you have I don't do you have I'm like, it's been a minute since I did this part. I typically, honestly, you know what I am now, folks? I am actually Kirby's contractor. When we don't run out of people, that's how I end up at events these days, is when Kirby's like, you know what, Leah, I need you to show up at this thing. And so then I go, and I love it too, because it helps me stay in. The dev team does not like it so much, because I tend to sit there and be like, I didn't like this, change this thing. But aside from that, I'm Kirby's buffer. Okay, so speaking of buffers, what buffer rule would you apply as far as timing goes? So we acknowledge that very few people are going to get it exactly right, and just throwing away that idea that it's going to be exactly by the minute what you want it to be, right? Am I correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So then what is acceptable, and where is it where you're like, no, stop, something really has to happen. We're way too far over, way too far under.
Yeah. The first thing that came to mind when you asked me that just now was what time do you tell your volunteers to get there? because each person, you also, you know, your volunteer base best, but also if I want people to be seated, briefed, walk through, bathroom, food, snack, whatever it is, water, I 60 minutes early at a minimum having those people arrive, just because and it's against what I personally like. I want to know what time am I working? What time am I seated? Because I want to do my own timeline. That means I'm going to get an hour and a half hour early and I'm going to park and I'm going to do all this stuff, you know.
Right.
But some people, you know, oh, you said 6 o'clock. No, the
I'm
people
here
are arriving at 6 o'clock. I haven't even you know, all it's just kind of madness. So in your own timeline for because somebody has to run this check-in, you know, somebody has those people, I want to feel confident in their role, having a buffer time of just from the very beginning, having those people arrive early. And it also gives you the opportunity before a VIP check-in or something to walk through different scenarios of, okay, we're having a raffle today. And some people might forget that information and go, oh yeah. But the pro tip there is try to get on a live phone call with those folks and record it. Because what I see is that I'll do this for people. You know, if I go on site, like get a pre-event check-in training, and I'll say, okay, you know, you have the basics on what we're going to talk about. I send out the recording and I'm watching. It's awesome to see, but I'm watching them get there early and they're watching their video and they're skimming through it and they go, I forgot what she said there. Scroll through. And I was like, yes, because also it helps the event manager feels better. And, you know, on site, it's what, ooh, everybody feels nice, calm,
I
cool,
can
and
totally
collected.
attest to that. As I've been on site and I'll be like explaining something and I think I'm explaining it from the and they're like, well, I watched the recording that Kirby did. Well, so I've had them say to me like, no, I've got this already. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay, good. It's just a refresher then on site, as opposed to I have to learn this whole new product that I've never before touched in this moment and use it in the next moment.
Yeah. And then, but that delay on the other side, right? It just throws everything off. Because if you have people walking in brand new, okay, now 2 people are good. Now the line's getting longer and it's like,
and stacks and stacks and stacks.
Yeah. Domino.
You know, it's so interesting, Kirby. You've done this now twice. So my next question is, what's one line item people forget to put on the timeline? But you've kind of answered it, and you've answered it a couple of times with the answer about like think of your volunteers, and that I do like that is so interesting to me because I don't know that I hear that often from other folks that I talk to about events. That to like really consider the people that are going to be there supporting the event, and when you ask them to do things as the primary driver for your timeline. It's really good.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is, I mean, I've been touching on check-in primarily, but also it's those revenue enhancers, those raffle sales people, the point of sale, the, you know, selling, well, whatever it is, bubbles and bling, right? So it's like, whoa, what is Kirby volunteer? What is this about? They go, I don't know. You know, well, they skipped the briefing and the mistakes caused guest confusion and, you know, operational chaos, but not as, you know, catastrophizing, but it is, I do think it's just invaluable, very important.
So would you then, would you say a different timeline for like a fun run as opposed to a gala for those volunteers and check-in and everything else that's coming?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I guess so. I mean, in a fun run in particular, you know, we have a morning gala, you know, luncheon, we have a
golf tournament.
Fun runs and golf tournaments make me nervous because of early morning check-in. Yeah. And so my volunteers, I need you to get there at 6:30 because the guests are arriving, you know, the golfers are arriving at 7:30. And so those, in terms of timeline buffer for those, I mean, just volunteer wise, yeah, I mean, you gotta have to more legwork or get there earlier because that's the most stressful. Maybe. It's the most stressful part, and you know, gotta have a plan B.
All right. So we've got our timeline. There's our skeleton. That's, you know, how it felt. So let's now talk about the feeling of being at the event, the experience that we want people to have. What is a detail that is like so tiny that you think a development director would maybe never plan for it, but you think that they should?
Let's see. Well, I did talk about the auction, you know, winning bidder communication, because that's causes so much chaos in terms of staff's time and the guest time, because they think they're skipping the line, you know, they're getting there early, they're doing a good thing, but ends up being organizationally like oh gosh,
Well, and
I'm
also you're
writing, I'm
leaving revenue on the
scribing,
table. Yeah.
right? You know, or even just, you know, staff time, they're scribing and everything. There's no one over there to take the item or, you know, check
Oh
them
yeah.
out or give them the item. And so now you have people waiting in the foyer and not looking at the program. Talk about tiny. Let me think about that. The other thing I was thinking of is having an activity or something to do during the, which I mean, I feel like that one's pretty obvious, but I have been to a couple of events where it was a strip bear. It was executed really well and it was great, but really there wasn't as much engagement or like maybe the energy was flat whenever you
Hmm.
just arrive and I'm having the small bites and chatting with my friends, but where's the photo booth that I can, you know, promote for this event, or where's an extra revenue enhancer during my time, or even auction displays. um I think this is going to come into a future question, but uh I think auction displays are just something to do, a little activity. It
I hear
really like
you.
pushes
Yeah.
the experience along. It makes me want, instead of like that was good, you know, that was executed well, I had airline chicken and, you know, no, nothing to write home about. But I want to change that into, I want to come back. Like that was, whoa,
Yeah.
that was super fun. Something like that. So,
Okay.
I don't know. Did I answer your question?
No, I love that. I think that's actually a really good one too, that I don't think a lot of people, because those all sometimes when I can say when I was development director and when I was working events, like each one of these things that we're discussing, particularly when it comes to like a revenue enhancer, it means more effort, time, what have you, organization. If I'm going to
Hmm.
find and source raffle items, if I'm going to like pull these, but what I'm hearing you say, and I completely agree with you, is that those things are very important because it makes the entire evening feel like a cohesive evening, feel like something that was interesting and fun, and it wasn't just like you said, go sit down, eat your chicken, watch a show, and then leave, or
Hmm.
maybe even go to the after party. Like great, but if you had some other parts in there that made it more engaging, then it's becomes something that people will remember better.
Yeah. There's a ton of fun, like budget, sensitive, uh, activities that even, I mean, well, you'd like a revenue enhancer, but I've just seen so many cool things that aren't a big line item in your budget that it just makes like, wow, I remember that event for that specific thing. I want
Yeah.
to do that next year. I didn't get the opportunity this year. I can't wait to go back. So things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like you mentioned, photo booth. We said raffle. I'm thinking like bid board is another. Wine
There was,
pull. What's one?
yeah, well, there was another one that I haven't heard any other fundraisers talk about, but it was a flash tattoo. I don't know
Oh,
if
that's
that
fun.
org is in there, but it was so interesting. I'm going like, what are y'all doing over there? It's I didn't expect that, but it was for a animal rescue. Well, not really rescue, but anyway, um, they were doing, you know, on theme kind of fun flash tattoos, and I just thought that was the cutest thing. It was, you know, not free, you had to pay for it, but oh,
Yeah.
there's other ones like, you know, the hat, they made their own hat, you know,
Oh, cool.
cowgirl hat, cowboy hat, whatever.
Oh, I've seen
um
that. And another one I was thinking of is
it's really
there's the
successful.
typewriter poetry or typewriter rodeo where they like
Oh yeah.
type up a poem for you. And then another one I was at that was fun that I still have the drawing somewhere. My friend and I did where they did a drawing, like a fashion line drawing of you and your friend in your outfit. And it was really cool. Like, yeah. So all of those things. And you're right. None of them are insanely expensive, but they are like, they've stuck in my head. I've experienced these.
Yeah. So
Good
if there's
idea.
something, yeah, something that fits on theme, even better. You know, how can we weave in
Right.
even your mission too? I mean, like I was saying with the animal related one, you know, the flash attitudes, you're doing cute dogs and cats and stuff like that. I want to give you $50 for that. I don't know. It's so cute. So anywho.
What do you feel about so I'm going to shift here now to like room flow. So how do you feel about signage or
Oh, Leah.
the way that the room is set up? Are there broad strokes kind of tips you can give us on that front?
Okay, everybody listen to
I
this.
guess so.
The principle is simple. Every guest path. Okay, so every entry point, I want you to turn your brain off with a clean mind. I've never been here before, right? Turn your mind off, and if you don't know the answer, you need a sign there. So if there is you know, yellow brook and a lane that way, what do you need? A sign that has an arrow. Um, I want it to be obvious without staff intervention, where you don't necessarily have to have a greeter there. It would be great if you did, oh, follow me this way. But some of these hotels, there's thousands of ways to get there, right?
Oh yeah.
There's the elevator and the escalator, and there's on the fourth floor, and blah blah blah. So many, even
Check-in's
there's
on the
other
third
creative
floor, but
ways.
the event's on the fifth, and yeah.
Exactly. I've seen a lot of creative solutions to that too, where it's like they had a sticker on the ground over the escalator, or
Yeah.
if yeah, it's like a vinyl sticker. Hotels will allow you to do that, but the answer is absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I just no, I don't want any questions. Where's the bathroom? Bathroom sign. Where's the silent auction? Silent auction sign.
Okay.
So, but some people,
what happens is the people at check-in get asked all this litany of questions from all these people, and you're like, okay, so we're having to train the silent auction folks on where the toilets are, where the silent auction is.
Yeah, but also, yeah, it's just an extra thing that guests feel, I hate feeling lost. I hate being somewhere the first time and going, where is it? I've asked 15 times. Where is, so
yeah.
It small touches that can be, lower budget. You can make it happen. But anyway, yes.
I think another one too, Kirby, to that point, is that within the guest link that we send folks, so with BetterUnite, you get a guest link that you get texted as soon as you walk up and walk into the event, and you can make visible to your guests what table they are seated at, what table number. And that way, like, the sign is literally in your hand, and you can instruct the check-in staff to say, click through that link, and actually the body of the text will also tell them what table they're at. But I always use that as a reason to get them to click through the link, which has other knock-on effects, and then they know where they're sitting. Even if they forget, the table number is right here. So is your bid number, by the way, if you lose that too. It's both here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so do you have a story of a little fix that you saw an organization make, or a small tweak that totally changed everything?
Interesting enough, I was thinking of, because my position, I go to these events in real life. Sometimes I don't see the background, or, the reasoning behind the staff time, or whatever the case is for these decisions to be made. But year one that I went, it was there's one event that they didn't have auction displays. No auction displays. So, I love that. It's okay. They, that's one way to do it, as my mom would say. But, in the program, maybe they had one QR code that some of the people, they don't, they didn't want to take the program. They didn't look at the program.
Yep.
And so the auction fell flat, and they didn't even really know there's an auction, and maybe the silent auction. And so, although it was mainly because, that there was not a lot of items and everything, but even just that decision, now I'm comparing it, the same event, year one versus year two, where they had an auction display. And now there's a couple more items in there. And suddenly, wow, the auction did really well compared to last year.
Wow.
Well, you look at
which
that.
Also can be another engagement tool, like having your silent auction out is just something to do and go and look at, especially if you were by yourself, or, wandering around, you kind of, I love it. No, that's a good one.
Yeah. So
how do you think about the guest experience when you're thinking about maybe a first time attendee, or somebody that your organization has never really engaged or even known, and versus your one of your longtime donors? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I guess the main difference in terms of events is that the first time donor, they need some hand holding, so sure. I want, as soon as they arrive, kind of that understanding of not just let me back up. I want them to feel the why are you here? But also, as soon as you enter, I want the signage as well. That's where I was coming back to. I was because longtime donors that come year after year to the Hilton, to the JW Marriott, to the blah 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 golf tournament, they know the deal. They know why. They've given before. And so for those longtime donors, to capture them is to see how did their money affect positive change in this organization's mission, right? So, in that funding video, you're showing what did we do with your money last year, and recurring. How can we make you even better? Post-event reach outs for volunteer opportunities and things like that. So all around saying, here's how you can stay involved, for that first time donor, and
Sure.
honestly the long time too. But
Right.
the first timers, I need like why, really push through
Big
that
why.
why are we here,
Mhm.
versus
And it can't hurt
our
for
long
the
time.
longtime donors to see that too, right? Like it's great but that's a great point, Kirby. Just like to be thinking about, we both need to re-articulate the why and wrap up folks in, we took your money that you gave us last year and look what we did. So it's just really,
Mm-hmm.
those are truly two different messages and they both need to be strong.
You're right. Well,
Very good one. Okay, this is the part of the conversation that
got
I
attention.
honestly think that most of the people are very hungry for. Because I mean, I feel like no matter how good your plan is, I'm sure there's a saying here that I can't think of, but like something's going to change it and shift it at some point. Like this is going to happen. So this whole thing was called Real Talk with Kirby Cathy. So Kirby, here's our real talk.
Oh,
Ready?
hey.
What is the one thing you wish every event lead knew about how event day goes? Like when the boots are on the ground, what do you want them to know?
Okay. Pretend I want you to this is kind of mean. I want you to pretend that people forget everything that you taught them. If I forgot everything that I told this volunteer, what's my plan B? So what does that mean? I have a piece of paper with the 4 points that you need to say. And if you forget everything, refer to your paper. Or even if there is, let's say, at revenue enhancers, or sorry, maybe the scribes. During the program, people are listing off the bidder numbers. 1, 2, 3,
Right.
give 5,000, thank you. 1, 2, 3. I want instructions at the top. At the bottom, I want who to return this piece of paper to and where. Because if you forget, in the throes of things where someone didn't show up and now Kirby has to go do it, I'm looking at this piece of paper and what is this? The instructions say what to do. Says where does it go? Okay, I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't have to go rush around and find somebody's phone number. So honestly, small things like that are probably what make an event manager's life or anybody on the development team's life a lot cleaner, happier for event day.
Yeah, because you kind of never know what you're going to have to throw at somebody, and whether or not they, in the rush of everything, got a full explanation of it. So that's such good advice. So when you do have something that goes sideways, which we all know is just going to happen inevitably, what is the first thing that you do before you even fix the problem?
Good question. I'm guilty of this. I am a panic solve. Not the instinct is panic solve. Jump straight to like, how do we fix it right now? Fix it. Yeah. And that's great. But also, really, I mean, communication is key. So some of the cool events that I've been to that are larger, where these things it just inevitably do happen. Right. I had a little walkie-talkie. Table 34 doesn't have a chair, and so okay. Heard, and I volunteer, get up. I'll take this chair over there. So really, the steps, the series of events, and send a text to the group chat really quick, get the right people, solve. Because the reason why it's so important, because you might get 3 people solving the same problem in 3 different ways, and now we're wasting 2. I only needed 1 person.
Sure.
Got it. Heard, fixed. But it just creates confusion rather than
so communicate
clarity
and find clarity. Yes, I love this. Okay, here we go, people. This is the real stuff. How do you keep a volunteer team calm and focused when the room is as energetic as we want it to be? Everything is like buzzing and everything is just moving and moving and moving really quickly.
Energetic. Let's see. I mean, I wanted to say initially, I got distracted for a second. My dog went out the room. I want to say initially, we're just telling like everybody's. What was the question? Is volunteers? The volunteers.
How do you keep
keeping
your
energy high?
Team calm? How do you keep them to like stay on task? Like do the next thing when everything is frenetic around them.
Oh well, honestly, I'm probably just speaking to the choir, but it is like, okay, here's my team, my 4 people. Here's your 1 role, and then next we're moving on somewhere else. So I don't want you to stop and pet the dog and go over there, but also your job. Here's just the finite. Here's the scope of my opportunity here. Do this. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, I agree with that.
Chunk it down.
What's funny is like one of the things that I'll say is just like at check-in, I'm like, okay, you complete this job before you have your glass of wine. And for the scribe, same thing. I'm like, no drinking until the end of this, because I mean, how many, I'm sure this has happened to you, Kirby, too, but like sat down and the person next to you at the check-in table is just drunk. And you're like, this is causing more harm than good. Like, please leave. But they're this important donor and you can't ask them to leave. And also we're the, hired help. Anyway, I just like, that's one of my big ones is like, if I've given you this job, you do it and then you get to drink, but you do not get to drink and do this job.
Wait, that's a good point. I usually just say, I can see this is, maybe you need to take a break for a minute.
I'm meaner than Kirby.
It's so funny.
Okay, what is the biggest curveball you've seen on event day, and how did the team recover?
Oh, let's see. Personal experience for this one was, it was kind of a small thing that ended up, it wasn't a big deal, but also in the event planner brain going like, oh my gosh. So pulling from personal experience, excuse me, we had preset desserts, right, on the table. Every dessert had a dessert pick. It had a logo and it had an image. And guess what? And in the BEO that we've dug through and perfected, amazing, doesn't always pan out. And, I did a little check-in, peek in there, see how's it going? Are we almost done presetting desserts? Awesome. Oh, what do I see? They're actually all the picks. 1,300. They were about 500 in when I spotted it, but, and this is early morning, it's a luncheon. And, I needed logo out, face, the image out, every other one inverted. So that's what we promised the sponsor. And so what do? Don't panic. It's okay. Communicate. Get the right people. Let's talk to the person. And then
so your sponsor's logo was upside down?
Well, it was backwards, right? Oh. It's supposed to be fit, and anyway. Yeah. What has been promised, I have to make good on. So that was just one that, kind of event day horror stories. You could go, no, they're not horror. Okay, they're all fixable. It's all good. Sure. But also, I could probably go back and forth all day on. Oh wow. Oh, remember that one thing you learned from that?
Right? That there was a bear that walked into the event that, whatever. Anyway, there's a million fabulous and terrifying things.
Yeah. Yes. I remember that.
Okay. How much should an executive director or a development director be in the weeds on event day versus being with their team or doing anything else? Absolutely anything else.
That's such a the answer. Do not be stuck at check-in somebody. You know your job. It's to go mingle. I need you to do your perfect, talk about your organization, build donor relationships, get those people to tour your facility, go get them secured for volunteer opportunities, talk, anything else, leave check-in alone. Leave me alone. I'll call you if I need you.
And it's so, and also now having, I did not get this until I was on the software side or the event support side, but because it also, a lot of the times when the development director is up there or an executive director, they're slowing things down because people are now talking to them and they have full-blown conversation. It's not like they can take their major donor and just so you just need them to not be there, at the end of it all, like you're saying. Yeah, that's a good one. How about a sign mid-event that things are going off the rails before it becomes obvious? Is there something that we should look for?
Good question. Actually, a couple of instances came in my mind. There are some events where you have two check-ins or a different station, or the check-in's not in the same space or something like that. So if guests are arriving at 6:00, and you're ready at 6:00, it's 6:15. Okay, there's a trickle. This is kind of weird. Usually you're looking at your check-in stats ongoing. Okay, and not a lot of people are here. What's going on? So on, at 6:15, 6:20, okay, something's off. And so in particular, I was at this event where in iShot, I could see those people did not come to check in. I need you to get a card on file. I want to send you your text message. I want to tell you what table you're at. I want to give you the program and the spiel. But as soon as I spotted that going, there's another entry point. It's because this huge facility there's a huge facility with a different parking lot that, the instructions were, guests, y'all arrive here, or there's valet, or so on. But, well, they were staying at the hotel and they had a different parking lot and they came from a different area. And so,
Ooh,
and so
buggers.
they didn't know,
Yeah.
any better, because why? No signage. Uh,
And we're back.
and so we're back. Yes. And so what did I do? Panic. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. We sent some greeters over there. So we sent people, either a mobile check-in. So iPads, iPhones, you can go over there, do a mobile check-in, grab a stack.
Sure.
Just to mitigate some of those people, send the rest of them over to us if you can. And that's obviously in the debrief notes for the following year. Well, proper signage, pre-assigned bidder numbers. Now they're going on the tables. There's all kinds of ways that you can mitigate some of these things. So, yeah.
All right. I like it.
Before it becomes obvious, where's everybody? Okay, 15 minutes have passed. So
awesome. Okay, so I feel like I skipped a couple of questions here. All right.
Are we doing an hour or 30 minutes?
You know what? We're supposed to be close to finishing right now, but I feel like I've got we did these. Yeah, gosh, Kirby, we're plowing through our questions. I still have a whole other page of them. I don't know why I'm saying it like this. Okay. I want to do a lightning round with you. That's why I was saying this, and I was checking on my things, because I want to make sure that if we're already at lightning round, that I've gotten through at least what we wanted to make sure that people got to. Yeah, no, we got through a lot of this. I'm proud of us. Way to go. All right, here we go. Ready? Lightning round questions. One thing that you would tell someone planning their very first in-person fundraiser.
Okay, doesn't have to be flawless. I'm a perfectionist as well. But also, I mean, it's really, think about the guest experience, how it makes them feel, right? Are they wrapped up? Are they having fun? Are they feeling intrinsically valued by being here and giving? And that's kind of it. As much as it hurts me to see the dessert picks being the wrong way or upside down, or forgetting the sign in the other room for the with the arrow. Just what's more important, just back up 5,000 steps.
Yep.
Because they're not going to know. But they're not going to know. It's like the actors or whatever, you're on stage and you said the wrong line. Nobody knows.
No one has an
idea.
All right, ready? So, and I'm not doing a very good job with this lightning round.
Oh, sorry.
I'm totally agreeing with you is the problem. I keep being like, oh, a good one. Okay. One thing experienced planners get wrong. Go.
Every organization is different, but the donor base, okay. I think some experienced planners that come into an organization that don't know their donor base very well, they have kind of like a wedding planner. They have their series of events. This is the standard of our anchors, and this is how it runs, and this is how it operates. But some folks, they might be more advanced or less advanced in terms of technology, or whether this is a recurring event, or they're used to a certain way where you're kind of training them every year onto a certain, the check-in station is always here, something like that, right? Or 90% of my donors are recurring. 90% of my donors are first time. So sometimes I see, planners getting that wrong in terms of, they say that check-in is going to be right here, when really I think, hey, we're missing everyone. We should be right there. And so really, I guess, and program structure too, for that matter, if there's like a, fun run, then whatever the case is. But it's just, stay curious. One of BetterUnite's, hey, circle it back. Stay curious. Ask the question. What do we learn? Yeah. So
these are our BetterUnite values. So that's what I love it. But it's totally true. Okay, see, I'm doing a bad job of lightning round. Ready? What's your favorite part of event day?
Ooh, the calm before the storm, where everybody feels like really good. I love that, where it's like, I have done all the things. We have done a pre-event training. We've talked about every scenario that these people will see. They know where the bathrooms are. They know what they're selling. They know, whatever the case is, everybody is set and ready. They have their iPad. Oh wait, I have one right here. They have their iPad. They're ready. Yep. They have their reader, and they're ready to check in people with a smile. They have their water bottle. everybody has gone to the bathroom.
Yep.
That's like the calm, the 10 minutes, the calm before the storm, you know? All right,
Everyone
everybody
exhale.
good, everybody cool.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, that just kind of is a little bit electric when it turns from, all right, we're ready, we're set, to, okay, it's starting to pick up,
Let's
you know,
go.
it's happening. It's
Yep.
happening. So yeah, I
What
love that.
about your least favorite? Do you have a least favorite part of the event day?
The least favorite is probably like the shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
there was a detail that we missed,
Yeah.
or, you know, it's something that fell through the cracks or something where all you can do is be better next time, you know, that we've learned from this opportunity. Don't send text messages during the program, you know, whatever it is. I'm going
Now
back
we
to that
know.
one, but so probably that the shoulda, coulda, woulda always hurts you, but it's okay. Nobody's perfect.
It's necessary, but yeah. Okay, last question. What is the best piece of advice that somebody ever gave you about live events?
Okay. The best piece of advice is, like I said earlier, close your eyes, wipe your brain, think through a scenario or scenarios from different kind of like what is it called, donor life cycles, where we were talking about earlier, first time, you know, long time, and is this an annual event, and see, like, if this thing happens, you know, let's say the world explodes, what are we gonna do? Well,
all technology fails.
well, don't say that.
I know.
Don't say that. But if it,
But you do
if
have an
the,
analog
if there's
backup. Like that's
if
the
there's a
answer.
tornado, what
Yeah.
are we gonna do? If we're an outdoor event, what's our
Which
rain
I
plan?
have been. I've been at an event and hidden in a stairwell. Done it.
Yes, but I've also been to outdoor events where they don't have a rain plan, and
Yeah.
I should have asked. I said, "What is our rain plan? Hello,
By the way,
what are we gonna do?" Yeah. So I mean, if it does go sideways, don't panic. What are the 3 steps? Assess, get the right people involved, solve. So
communicate, solve. All right,
contingency.
Kirby. I love it. Contingencies, backups. This has been so good. I have to ask you, okay, I know I told you that was the last question, but I'm asking you one more question because it's the question I always end with, which is, if everybody listening here is planning an event in the fall, let's just pretend, and they went and you had your choice and they went to do one single thing that they weren't already doing this week, what would that thing be?
This week, okay, in the fall. So that means you're 4 to 8 weeks out. Let's see, we're August.
This is how her brain works, guys.
I know. Well, it was like, we got it. Where's our anchors? Okay, we got our deadline, and I would say, well, I'm going back to volunteers because right now is when your volunteers are making plans for their fall event.
I agree. Yeah.
And then marketing deadlines too, because some of the things that you're not thinking about, well, some things I see people fall on their face about are that you're promising sponsors something, right? I'm promising the logo on my t-shirt. Your t-shirts are due next week, you know, in order to get them in from XYZ with the logo and the coloring, da-da-da-da. And so some of those items, like, you have to push right now for sales on those tangible branding elements. So push those sales, push them. But I mean, y'all might know that, right? But sometimes people forget about staffing, and then the marketing deadlines. Yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
I love it. I love it, Kirby. All right. Well, thank you so much for this. You are a true girl genius and
girl boss.
Girl boss, for sure. Girl boss. I was trying to decide of saying Supergirl because I just saw the preview for that. But yeah, you're all of the above: Superwoman, Supergirl, Wonder Person. Anyway, you're our events guru, and I want to make sure that folks know that they can connect with Kirby at any time. If you have an event that's coming up and you need support in person, you need support for your support people, Kirby is your go-to. She's the man, and the woman, I should say. And her email here is on the screen, Kirby@BetterUnite.com. Anything else you want to tell us, Kirby?
I don't know. I feel like you can. I'm a part therapist, part strategist, part consultant. So I mean, you need to talk to me about something. Just shoot me a line.
There you go. There she is. All right. And so I also just quickly want to mention before we leave, next week I am going to be joined by Melissa DeClue. She is a CFRE. She's got a master's in education as well, and she's the founder and CEO of Amplify Missions. She's going to be talking about some of what Kirby was just mentioning, designing intention, mapping the donor journey before, during, and after your events. This feeds right into what you were discussing, Kirby, like how is the first time attendee going to experience your event? How is the long time attendee, and everything in between? And what Melissa will be describing is how you can plan for that and plot it out for both before and after the event, as well as during. So I think you should scan that QR code and show up next week, next Tuesday, August 11th at 1:30 Central. Just like always, we'll be here. And then what else do I want to tell you? If you would like to have more information about BetterUnite, you're not already a BetterUnite user, scan this QR code or email us at support@betterunite.com. We would love to show you around, give you a demo. Same goes if you want to sign up for that the session next week with Melissa. You can always email support@betterunite.com or go to betterunite.com/ is it webinars? I don't know what it is, but go to betterunite.com and you'll see resources, and yeah, there, it's right there. Thank you all so much. Kirby, thank you so much. It was lovely chatting with you. Not like I
Of course.
chat with you all day, every day, but it's great to talk about this all in one place. I hope this has been helpful. Again, the show notes are going to give you a path to our article about this session that will have a transcript. It will have highlight reels and all of the other things. I hope everybody has an incredible rest of your Tuesday. Let's go. We're almost to our fall fundraising season. You've got this. We've got this. Let's all go do some good. Have a great day. Bye, everyone. Bye, Kirby.
Bye.